Alright guys, so in this lecture we are going to look at some of the previous exam questions and some of the questions you should be expecting in this correct exams that is coming up. Now we have the first question here. The options are here, but I will just look at the questions themselves, which is the main questions, and then leave the options. Now the first question you have here, it says given that f of x, so we come here, write down f of s is equals to 5x minus 12, and g of x is equals to s squared, and then h of x is equals to sine x. So find the expression for f of h squared. Alright, so first of all we need to look for h squared. So h squared, it means you should square this expression, and when you square sine x, it's going to give us sine square x. Is that okay? And then f of h square, according to what I've taught you before plus the assignment we've done, the expression can be written as f of x bracket what? H square. Now what does this mean? It means that wherever you see x in f, you should put what? The value of h square. Wherever you see x in f, put in the value of h square. So our f of h square would be, what is our f of s? F of s is 5. We say wherever you see x, what are you going to put there? Put h square. So this becomes 5, and then h square is what? Sine square x, then minus this 12 here. Are you getting it? Wherever you see x in f of s, put h square, which is 5, then sine square x minus 12. Or you can write f of x out, which is what? 5x minus 12. Wherever you see x, put in the value of what? H square. H square is what? Sine square x. So here become 5 sine square x minus 12. And that is option B in the past question that will be given to you. Option B. So you should take note of this question. Option B is the correct answer. Is there, but you should be careful so as not to choose the wrong option. It may be option C in the exams, it may be option D, maybe option A. All right, now the next one is f of x is equals to 3x plus 10. So they say determine the inverse. Now if you want to determine the inverse of a function, you say f of x is 3x plus 10. There are steps you need to follow. First of all, you know that y is equals to f of x. So we can say y is 3x plus 10. Let's make s equal to the formula. So you have y minus 10 is equals to 3s. Divide both sides by 3. And then x will be y minus 10 divided by 3. X will be y minus 10 divided by 3. Now wherever you see x, put y. Wherever you see y, put x. That is the inverse. So here will become y is equals to x minus 10 divided by 3. Are you getting it? X minus 10 divided by 3. Now, which of the option do you think is the correct answer? This is 20 here, not 10. So please correct that. So if here is 20, it means here will be 20, means here will be 20, here will be minus 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 20. So our answer now will be x minus 20 divided by 3. Y now will be, whenever you have a common denominator and there are two numerators separated by a sign, here become x minus 3 minus what? 20 divided by what? 3. And this is the correct answer. And that is option B. X divided by 3 minus 20 divided by 3. That is what? Option B, again, is the correct answer to this question. All right, exactly. Let's look at the next one. The next one says, given that f of x is s raised to the power of 3 plus 4s squared minus 3, determine f of 2 plus f of minus 2. Now, one thing you should know is that some of the questions we have here are not that clear. So you might be expecting some little changes. If there are no little changes, then you should know that that is the correct answer. Now, they gave you f of s as this. So our f of x is given as s raised to the power of 3 plus 4s squared minus 3. So what do you think will be our f of 2? It means wherever you see x in this expression, put 2. So f of 2 will be 2 raised to the power of 3 plus 4 bracket 2 square minus 3. 2 to the power of 3 is what? Is 8 plus 2 square is 4. 4 times 4 is 16 minus 3. So we'll have 8 plus 16, which is 24 minus 3. 24 minus 3 is 21. So the correct answer to this question is 21. And that is option. No option carries. Okay, that's 21 for the first case. There are two cases that we are given in this question. Now the second case says f of minus 2. So wherever you see x, put what? Minus 2. So here become minus 2 to the power of 3 plus 4 minus 2 square minus 3. Minus 2 to the power of 3 is minus 8 plus 4 bracket minus 2 square is 4 minus 3, which should be minus 8 plus 4. 4 times 4 is 16 minus 3. 16 minus 3 is 13. So minus 8 plus 13 is 5. Alright, but they say you should find f of 2 plus f of minus 2. F of 2 is given as 21. F of minus 2 is given as 5. So when you add them together, here it gives us 21 plus 5, which will give us 26. So the correct answer to this question is 26, which is option D in the question given. Alright, let's see the next one. What is the domain of this function? Now, when we talk about the domain, we say we are talking about the set of possible inputs. When we talk about the domain, we are talking about the set of possible input. So what is the domain of this function? The function given to us is f of x is equals to the square root of 4 minus s squared. Now, for us to look for the domain of this function, we should have it in mind that for this function to be defined, right, our square root must never give us a negative value. And if it must not give us a negative value, it means the values that the square root must give to us, if you look at the number line, you have 0, then you now have negative values, then here is positive. So the values that the square root must give to us must be greater than or equal to 0, because you can find the square root of 0. Square root of 0 is 0. But you cannot find the square root of minus 1. It's going to give you a complex number where you will now be introducing iota. So in this case, we can say let everything inside the bracket be what? Greater than or equal to 0 for this to be defined. So here it gives us 4, then s squared greater than or equal to 0. We want to look for the value of s for which this is defined. Alright, how do we look for the value of s for which this is defined? Now, one way to do that is very easy. We can decide to subtract 4. I know if I say subtract 4 from both sides, some persons will get confused, but this is the university. Some things are things that you should have taken into cognizance. Or let's take this 4 to this side. If you take the 4 to that side, it's going to give us minus s squared greater than or equals to what? Minus 4. Now, to get s squared, divide both sides by minus 1 first. Now, whenever you are divided by negative sign in inequality, the sign changes. So this will give us this. This cancels this. Here will give us what? 4. So here will be s squared is less than or equals to the 4. X will be less than or equals to plus minus the square root of 4. And then at the end of the day, x will be less than or equals to plus minus square root of 4 is what? Is 2. Is that okay? Square root of 4 is 2. Now, at the end of the day, we can say x is less than or equals to plus 2, or x is less than or equals to minus 2. All right. So what do you think is the correct answer to this question? Now, the correct answer to this question, if you want to put this in standard form or in number form, you can say that minus 2, right, is less than or equals to x, and x is less than or equal to 2. All right. So this is the best way to put it in number form. Now, what is the option that carries this? That is option A. That is the correct answer to that question. Next one, the function defined by this. When you have two functions defining a particular function that have step, are you getting it? There are different form of the function that there are different range of value or domain for which each of the functions are defined. You say those functions is a stepwise function, or you can call it the Heaviside function. So the correct answer is what? Heaviside function. Now, the value of the expression this. Now, how do you solve a question like this? You can decide to apply the chemistry. You can decide to apply the L'Hospital's rule or L'Hospital's rule to see if it's going to give us the correct answer. Now, I'm not sure of the correctness of this question. So, this is sine 15. Now, x, if you use the L'Hospital's rule, wherever you see s, put 0 for infinity. So this will be minus 15 divided by 5 bracket 0. This will give us 0. Sine 0, here will be sine 0 minus 15 divided by 0. Sine 0 is going to give us what? Now, at the end of the day, sine 0 is going to give us 0. So here will be 0 minus 15 divided by 0, which is minus 15 divided by 0. Now, the L'Hospital's rule, it says that for you to use this rule, it must be infinity over infinity, or it must give you 0 over 0, of which this is not satisfied here. Are you getting it? And if you use the other way I'm thinking, I've solved it before. If you use the other way I'm thinking, the answer is going to give us minus 2.8, which is still not part of the option. So I'll better go with it is undefined instead of 0. It is undefined. All right. Now, which of the following is not true for a function f of s to be continuous at point C? For a function to be continuous, if you were listening to that lecture I made for the assignment, we say for a function to be continuous, our limit of s tends to infinity for f of x must be equal to the limit for f of s. Now, another thing is that f of s must exist at s equals to infinity. F of c is defined at the point C. Its graph must be unbroken at the point C. So this one is correct, this is correct, this is correct. The only one that is not correct is option A. So when you see this question in the exam, you should go with what? Option A. Now, Given that y is equals to sine 3s, determine the y ds. This is actually a very simple question. Y is what? Sine 35s rather. Now, what do you do? This is called the chain rule. In the exam, you don't need to solve much. Just differentiate 35s, or just write this 35 again, because when you differentiate 35s, it's going to give us 35. Then differentiate sine, it's going to give us cos. Then write your 35x again. This is the answer to this question, and that is option C. That is option C. So if they give you anything like this, for instance, if they give you sine 4s, write this 4 again, differentiate sine to give us cos, and then write 4x again, and that will give us the correct answer. So you don't need to solve much for this. Now find the derivative of this. Whenever they give you this, it's very easy. Shortcut you have to use to solve this question is, look at it, solution. I've taught you how to use shortcuts like this. Write it. Y is equals to 3x minus 4 divided by 4, and raised to the power of 4. dy dx will be, differentiate what is in the bracket first. When differentiate 3s minus 4, differentiate 3s is going to give us 3. Differentiate minus 4 is going to give us 0. So you can say 3s minus 4, the answer will be what? 3 when you differentiate them. Use this 4 to multiply what you just differentiated. Write the bracket again. Everything in the bracket, 3s minus 4, and then subtract 1 from the power. That is the answer to that question. You don't need to solve much. I say, first of all, differentiate what is in the bracket, multiplied by the power. Write everything in the bracket again, then subtract 1 from the power. So 3 multiplied by 4 will give us 12. And then here will be what? 3s minus 4. 4 minus 1 is what? 3. And that will be the correct answer to this question, which is option A for this particular question. Option A for this particular question. Let's see the next one. Now, given that f of s is this, find the value of the y ds at s is equals to minus 2. Like I told you, some of the questions are not clear, so you might be experiencing discrepancy in answers. 3s squared minus 12x plus 9. That is the reason why you must focus on the question before you solve in the exam. And then say find the y ds at s is equals to minus 2. First of all, we need to look for the y ds. When you differentiate this, according to what I've taught you before, this multiply this will give us what? 6x minus then 12x. When you differentiate, is going to give us 12 plus differentiate 9 is going to give us 0. So our dy dx is 6s minus 12. Now at point s is equals to minus 2. So you are now going to come here, say at x, wherever you see s, put in minus 2. So our dy over the s will be 6 bracket minus 2 minus 12. So dy ds, 6 minus 2 will give us minus 12 minus 12. And then dy ds will be minus 12 minus 12 will give us minus 24. So the correct answer to this question is minus 24. Alright, but I don't think that is what they have here. That's why I said the answers might be different a little from the options, based upon the fact that the questions, there may be a mistake. So if we have this power here is not clear, so if we have 3s raised to the power of 4, now first of all let us find dy dx. Here now we give us what? When you differentiate this, I mean let f of x be 3x to the power of 4 minus 12s plus 9. So if you differentiate this, is going to give us what? 12s to the power of 3 minus 12 plus 0. So dy ds will be 12. Wherever you see x, put minus 2 there. So this one will be minus 2 to the power of 3 minus 12. And then dy ds be 12 bracket minus 2 to the power of 3 is what? Minus 8 minus 12. So dy ds will be, this divided by this is going to give us minus 96. Minus 96 minus 12 and then your dy ds will be minus 96 minus 12 will give us minus 1